Beterbiev versus Bivol. Man, did it end up lighting up the scene and turning out to be something much similar than I thought it would be. But there was just some compelling things that turned out in that fight card with guys like Shakur Stevenson, and over the course of this past couple of years, a rising heavyweight has decided to show face in Joseph Parker, who's literally stunning the world of boxing on an entirely different level. So that's what we're going to get into today with my man Otis. What's up, brother?
What up? What up? How y'all doing?
Oh yeah, let's get it in, man. This was a serious weekend, but I'm not gonna play fanboy. I look back at this thing, just the highlights, and it was just like I thought. I think better. Did I think Bivol did enough to win, so this thing could be a trilogy? If you wanted to give it to him, right? Because there were moments where he showed something, and I'm going to give you the floor because you picked him to win. He once again, it's just like the Canelo Arislanda Lara fight. There's a guy who wins more rounds, and then there's a guy who looks like the champ. Beterbiev just looked like the champ again. And it was like when he had his time, his moments, even when they were blocked, his punches were just so much more telling and so much more like I want to be that guy when I grow up kind of puncher. And so when the commentators I really don't like the job that Sergio Mora did. Next time I get a pay-per-view, I'm going to give the money to the guy from the UK who does it as well, along with what's our guy from Showbiz. Like, I'm gonna pick one of those guys to get to watch the fight with. I just don't care for Sergio Mora's bias. It's just so obvious. And I just was not happy with that final call. And I do think that Bivol fought valiantly. I'm not going to take that from him, because to find what it takes to beat a guy who has that kind of prowess, offensive prowess, is no joke. And he overcame some definite demons during that fight. So hats off to him for doing it. He did what he needed to do. It wasn't the kind of victory that I would have loved to like to see him get if he got it. But nonetheless, he gave them enough to say you won this fight. But I still think the guy who, when you look at the highlights, Bivol's highlights just don't match. It's not even close. It just looks totally different. So that's what I saw. Now I got to give the floor to you because you chose him. But I'm going to challenge everybody to do this. Marvin Hagler said that when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, that Sugar Ray Leonard was running like a little rabbit. You remember how he said that? But when Sugar Ray Leonard stopped and threw punches, he didn't throw twos and threes. He threw punches in bunches, eights, tens, hard, sitting down, volume, in front of a body snatcher. It just don't look the same when these guys do it today. Like, that did not look like, oh, steal the show kind of stuff. It was more of the commentators for me. And so when I say more of the commentators were making more of a big deal than it actually was. But if you turn the volume off and watch Sugar Ray Leonard and Hagler, you can't not be just totally impressed. I wasn't impressed. So the floor is yours, though, Nostradamus.
Well, hey, I'm still in the 90th percentile, so I'll take it. As we were talking about last week, when you said that you saw the fight going to the exact same, I knew, what I'm saying, like I told you, the X factor was this man was in a dispute with his wife, and having been in those kind of situations before, I know that. That can be a lot of stress on a man, and I've seen it happen to people as well. But anyway, going back to the fight, like I'm wondering, did you actually put on the first fight or something, and didn't actually see the second fight? Because as far as where I'm sitting, like in the beginning rounds, it might have been a closer, like a 50-50 rounds or whatever, because he's trying to fill this guy out, trying to get him tired or whatever. He started going to the body, and then in the middle rounds, his work output just completely swamped Beev's output, like maybe like 5-1. Like Beeve throws one hard shot or whatever that either is whiffs in the air or he
Yeah.
blocks, and then he hits him back with a perfect combination, and skates around him to the point where Beeve at times was trying to push him to the ropes to corner him, and he would jab his way out of it, boom, 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 and flip him back into the corner. So that was impressive in the mid rounds.
Well, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear your perspective from how you saw it, and because sometimes my eye could be biased for the tough guy who doesn't get a credit for how tough it is to cut the ring off and be punching the guy at the same time. I just don't think people understand how hard of a fight that is. Hagler couldn't do it until late in the fight, and so I just, my IQ of this game is extreme, right? To a point where it's just insane when I think about what I understand about the difficulty of cutting the ring off against a fighter and landing punches on him. So I'm gonna just play this one little quick little clip. This wasn't. And it wasn't. I wasn't saying, "Oh, this is a clip for." This wasn't a clip for Beterbiev. It was like every sequence where he had offense at all, it was just like, okay, that was effective. And Bivol did some nice stuff, but I was like, for me, and like I said, damn my thing, I did it again. There you go. No, my plug is connected to it's hitting my mouse. So that's what's been happening. I've been knocking my thing out. I wanted to see him say, F it. You got to knock me out tonight. In this, like, really, like.
Well, let me finish my breakdown.
But I'm gonna give you got the floor back because I cut you off.
I think that you obviously didn't see a couple things that a lot of people saw, and that is in between the 7th and 8th round, he hurt Beterbiev probably like twice, 2 to 3 times. The reason why people probably couldn't see it is because Beeve has an outstanding poker face, but I know he hurt him because he split his shot, he rocked him with a hook, and then he immediately just stood still instead of coming at them. He just stood still and just looked at him like with that stone face that like that Mount Rushmore face that he can only do. He looked at him, but I'm yelling at the TV. He's hurt. Dive on him. Dive on him. Dive on him. He's hurt. And then he thought that he came through a little bit, so he started coming back forward. And then Bivol hit him with a 4 or 5 punch combination, and then he was rocked again. And then even to the point for the start of the next round, I think in round 8, he was still not recovered. And then also you have to take into account how his corner was responding to the fight. They were telling him, hey, you're losing by several rounds and you got to knock him out. So they saw everything that I was seeing. So in just to recap, Bivol was strategic in the beginning. In the mid rounds, he picked up the pace and the output. In those late rounds, he was splitting his shot to the point that he would come at him and he would just run over everything that Beeve was doing and stop him with a clean blow and reset everything. So, I mean, if you ask me, he did exactly what you were saying.
Okay. Well, so this is what I'm going to make it clear because I don't think you think I'm giving him the credit. What I literally was saying is the way that Beterbiev made him look and feel. Like he diminished him. Like you could see Bivol's look, he was diminished. Even in that fight, in the first half of the fight, second half of the other fight, you could just see it, the belief system keep going away. When you win against a guy who beat you, you've been training. I clearly wanted to look a certain way. If if Sugar Ray Leonard would have rematched Hagler, and when they rematch, Hagler barely beats him, but is crying because Sugar Ray won the first fight, like you still won by a hair. Like it's really a toss up. It's still, to me,
I didn't think he won the first fight though. I'm a guy that doesn't think that.
But what I'm saying is, but I'm just saying, you get what I'm saying. Like if it hurt you so bad, like strategically, if you're better than this guy for real, when that fight plays out, it should be clear that you are not the Huckleberry, that person is the pawn and you are the king.
I'll give you a fight that you can weigh in on, and you tell me this because it sounded like you're talking about this fight. And you have to remind me, was it the first one or the second one? But Ali beat Joe Frazier, and Ali had to go to the hospital and get put on an IV and get all kind of medical treatment.
Yeah.
And Joe Frazier went and did a concert.
Oh, Joe Frazier is a monster, though, man. You can't compare Bivol, like, pain-wise to Frazier. Come on, bro. Like, you tripping? Come on.
Saying, like,
Joe Frazier lost to two men. Oh, yeah. They just happen to be two of the greatest fighters ever. Not, come on, bruh. You can't even. You just mentioned Bivol in the name in the same sentence as Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier, who he was fighting, like, come on, champ, come on now, dude. We talking about a dude who literally, like Rocky, punching meat, breaking. Man, he breaking dudes in the 70s. Before people understood that guys of that stature could do that to guys that size, that he, like Ali said, it's the most dangerous man I ever fought. Like the dude was like a savage, and you saw how Customato broke him down. How he was like, no, his defense is underrated. Like how he keeps the head movement going on a constant basis on a pendulum. Like, nah, man. Yeah, I don't think nobody understand how good Joe Frazier is. You met him. He gave you advice. So, but no, man, I can't even begin to think like he could kill a dude. Yeah, I know Muhammad went to the hospital.
Yeah.
Even when in the third fight, he's probably still went to the hospital. He getting hit by a dude that hit with sledgehammers. Come on, oh.
But that's the analogy that I'm giving for B.
But like, I don't give a damn if he won this fight or not. He ain't no Joe Frazier.
Hey, B,
you know what I'm saying? Like
is a weapon, man. Like it don't matter. Like
he
how
can
many
box.
Get in with
he
him.
Can box, but he corky. He can box. He corky, and I was hoping what I saw would give me hope that he could probably when he's boxing Benavidez, that I could see him winning. I don't see him winning against Benavidez at all. I think he just gets dominated. I think what Beterbiev did and went after. There are a lot of things that I looked at that I'm going to say, so that this is a segment right here. What did I see? What did I see that you may have missed? But immediately after the fight, like I said, in his face, he didn't only in spots did he look like the champ. I didn't say in spots when Sugar Ray fought Hagler did he look like the champ. Even when he was dying, in the corner, and Hagler was chopping away at his body like the professional he was. He didn't have 20 some fights. Hagler had over 60 fights at that time. So he knew how to get cats out of there. He did everybody the same way, from John DeBeast Mugabe, who was the fight before that, to Thomas Hearns. And when he had Sugar Ray in there, he was doing exactly what he does, the actual code to crush a guy's spirit and soul and break them down and get them out of there. And Sugar Ray bit down on his mouthpiece, did not move out of the corner, and went mano a mano with a dragon. God dog, I don't see that. And neither did I see that. And I've been watching boxing and a part of the sport for 5 decades now. 5 decades. And when I saw him after the fight and they asked him about giving this guy a rematch, he totally opted out of that conversation.
And I'm going to say something about that. Let's think about this. In all of the trilogies that you've seen in boxing, you guys, out there, I'm sure you know a lot. One, my view of Marquez versus
Vasquez or Marquez.
Yeah. So those guys, they fought 3 times and almost fought that the 4th time, right?
Yeah.
And but like this,
and Marquez and Pacquiao, Marquez fought Pacquiao 4.
Yeah. But that's a different Marquez though.
I know. I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying is those guys, their career, like when you get in trilogies and stuff like that, especially when they're going back and forth, how these guys just win, and you got a guy that can take years off of your career, like
for sure.
Like Bivol is, what is he, like somewhere between 28 and 32?
Yeah, he's young.
Beterbiev is 40 years old. He's done. So it would be stupid for me as a businessman, how we've been talking about and everything, to be like, hey, I got a whole decade left in my career, but I'm going to shorten it by giving this guy 3 fights when arguably I beat him the first time, and then I gave him a boxing lesson the second time.
But he didn't, because the champ Beterbiev just lost his first fight, so he didn't beat him the first time. That's objective. But listen, and I'll give you the floor right back, because you'll want to speak to this, and I value the conversation. So the thing about it is, it doesn't matter what you say after the fight, right? But this dude didn't want to. Beterbiev said it clear. I didn't want to give him a rematch. I didn't want to fight him again. For me, I didn't care to, right? I'm at the end of my career and I want to do what I want to do. But he said, I did it because. And so that's kind of what we call a gentleman's tip of the cap, a statesman. Out of just respect, at least say, yeah, I'll fight him. It ain't like the contract gets done because you said it after the fight. The opt out of it without even exercising the idea, I need to definitely heal up and think about what I need to do. But this dude fought you when he didn't want to. He didn't want to fight you either. So the tables are now just on merit, and that people would watch it again, and that those guys in Saudi Riyadh season is going to pay you handsomely to give them a trilogy, because it'll be their first trilogy, and they'll treat it as such. And so there's that. Like, just respect the moment and don't bow out the moment. You can always say, yeah, I think I need to fight Benavidez first, and then I'll fight him. Like, you don't have to fight. Like, that ain't saying it after the fight is not the contract. You know what I'm saying? Just to say it. So I wanted just to say that just to say, because he gave me an opportunity to win my title back, and he didn't have to. As honor between combatants, warriors, gladiators, at least exercise the thought. And that's what pissed Beterbiev off after the fight. He pointed to him like, I dare you. Like, the deal has to get done, and maybe the deal falls through, but don't right after I feel like you took a fight from me, that you won't give me a chance to, redeem myself like I gave you a chance to redeem yourself in a time in your life that you really needed redeeming. The mic is yours.
All right. Well, all I can do is tell you guys this. First of all, Dimitri Bivol is a good friend of mine on social media and everything. I've been studying this kid even when he was in the amateurs and before he got into the limelight, before he got the belt and everything. On the way up, you know, talking amongst just science to science with him and everything. So once you go inside the psyche of Dimitri Bivol, you understand that he's a very calculated thinking person. So it is correct that what Eric is saying. If you were going to say anything at the end of the fight, you would just kind of string it out and not really let everybody know what you're thinking. Like, hey, we need to sit down and talk about it and
Yeah.
everything. But this guy is calculated, and I say this because a lot of people didn't realize this unless you are a Bivol fan. But he won all the belts at 168. He won all the belts at 175. Got him back or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
already focusing on going to cruiserweight to try to get titles there. So that's why he probably didn't want to do the rematch unless they do the rematch at cruiserweight for a belt or something, because he's moving to cruiserweight now. And that's why he didn't talk about Benavidez and all that kind of stuff,
Okay.
because he's going to cruiserweight.
Okay. Well, check this out. Thanks for that insight. And your relationship with him does bring clarity to the audience, and so I hope you guys appreciate that. That's Nostradamus once again, Ostradamus. So check this out, Otis. Did you know this? So let me read my guy's name. I want to say his name. Pamer. I think that's what your name is. He said, "Funny how Dubois gets to take on Usyk when Joseph Parker should be up for the title shot." And I didn't know that. So thanks for putting me on that. Did they say that Dubois is going to get the fight Usyk and he didn't even fight Joseph Parker? Is that correct?
I don't know, but if that be the case, then I would understand it anyway, because Dubois was already holding the titles and everything, and already had the upset victory
Yeah.
going into the fight, so he is the next man up. But
Yeah.
uh, uh,
Man, if there's anybody who deserves that
if they
shot
paid the
now.
right money, he should be fighting Parker. Definitely. Before.
Well, I can appreciate that, but what one of the things that I wanted to bring to light is the other day when you were talking about the physical training part, right? And I'm not going to drop ship, but I appreciated, your breakdown. And then I do want to say that, the trainer that you had, that would be a method that I would have used when I was really using those kind of systems. And I didn't get a chance to respond because I'm dealing with my cords, right? Our house had been a wreck because we had people coming in working. But I wanted to address that. And when I played a clip of it back, I was able to, because you saw I edited it and I put your image up there and stuff. But one of the things that I wanted to shed light is that high repetition with your weight training and to burn that fat away from the muscle, which is one of the things that, now that I understood what it done, I understood the longer term effect. So I really start pulling back even further. But in off season training and like I said, calculated, that system is super. Like, I didn't get a chance to address it, and I wanted to add something. Like, I know a lot of you guys reach out about the nutrition component when you're getting these amazing training regimens and workouts. And so what you want to do is keep it super clear. What I did, and I even was encouraged to share with my mentor, my coach, Chis, all wanted me to give enlighten them on the nutritional component, because even though they were master trainers and coaching the Olympics, multiple Olympics, and a ton of world champions, they would always hand it off to the person who they knew had another skill set. And nutrition and always has always been my thing, right? So I partnered with a great dietitian from North Carolina, and we compiled the kind of way that you should eat once you do those tremendous workout regimens so your body could fully get the recovery. Now, I tell a lot of people that you were an Adonis. Not a lot of guys have your problem, like loaded with muscle and can fight. You know that because it's only been 3 people that looked the part and could actually deliver and became world champions with those kind of physiques. We're talking about Ken Norton. We're talking about not Razor Ruddy, but Evander Holyfield, the real deal. And very few people, Otis, in the history of boxing, looked like they could fight and could fight, right? And really was substantial. So, but I wanted to really make it clear what the uniqueness of that nutritional plan is. It was focusing on your intermittent fasting, meaning cleanse the gut, go into a detox with the meal, and then go into that all your proper macro. And when you do that and allow your body to cleanse, when you start doing that training and start cutting your body up, what happens is the body responds in such a way that you don't understand how you could feel that lean, that strong. And so that's one of the reasons I created Clean Athlete. It's just basic whole food and the intermittent system of eating. And when you mention that workout training regimen, that's exactly what I was doing. I got a picture of myself and it's in black and white right now because I don't have the color version, but I look like a monster. Like that was me at that time where the tight workout, you high repetition, because I could take 315 out the rack, Otis, at 152 pounds and bang it twice off my chest, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I had always had freakish strength, but it was when I got to stop eating all the McDonald's and just do what fighters do, eat crap. But we created that clean nutrition so that you could buddy the way you look with the way you eat. And that spawned what I was thinking. So I appreciate you really going in depth with that. And what I want you to do is I want you to kind of go back into that as soon as I give you back the floor, because I don't think people really understand how a true fighter athlete should train. And like I said, I do have a visual of you as well, and I'm gonna post it up here real quick so other people can see it, because everybody didn't get an opportunity to see what you look like, right? And now I was just blessed to be able to share the conversation that we had the other day, which will be in social media consistently throughout the week. So if you have not seen how to train with weights, if you're going to fight, Otis is going to give you the breakdown system that you can use. And I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do with the meals in order to have optimal output and recover from that kind of workout. Because the kind of workout that he's explaining that he did will make your body so sore, and you can co-sign on this, that you won't even know how to get out of the bed the next day. Your muscles will hurt so bad it'll feel like someone hit you with a razor blade all through your muscle fiber. But you got to know how to put that macro back in there and feed it in a way where it's getting that muscle and that reaction. And you can do what you need to do, and you can optimize your metabolic rate. And what's going to happen is when you get it to that place, you'll understand why older coaches who worked in the Olympics and with world champions wanted me to do it with them and for them. And that was one of the things that I was able to tip my cap, that I did something really right for the sport, because I gave nutrition to the sport. And that training system that you was talking about, I felt so bad. I was like, man, I didn't even get to really respond because I was on my own tangent. But I was like, I got to give Otis his flowers right there, because that was so good. And I was like, I'm gonna definitely tell them as soon as we get on the joint that day. But I got to show them something that they don't know about you. And so for those of you guys who are out there and you're trying to get yourself to the optimal level, Otis is going to break down one of the regimens that he has did growing into while he was in boxing and as a champion. And I'm going to, like I said, just kind of tell you that all you got to do is focus on cleanliness and think of yourself as a world champion. Think of yourself as what we call a statesman, someone who represents a brand of fighting. Don't just be a fighter, don't just be a trainer, but represent a brand of fighting, represent a brand of training. And when you can do that, that's when you'll go to the next level. So, Otis, hold up.
All right. Well, I'll break it down as I did
Hold on one
before.
second. Hold up. This is popping up.
First thing you want to do is when you're at your fight weight, like for instance, I fought at 175 pounds. I would never allow myself to get like over 190 pounds. I would try to stay within like 185, 187.
Look at that
because
dude.
I don't want to add the stress to my body.
Yes.
So I would never report to camp more than, about 10 to 12.
Did you see that dude? Like that dude, that's a dude. That dude is like that dude is shredded. Like people hear me say it all the time. Like that dude lasts. How you like the effect? How you like the effect?
Yeah, that was nice, man. I like it.
That was cold, right?
Yeah. I can't believe I used to be that kid.
You was that dude. That's the first thing I ever said about you. I was like, man, that kid right there. What's up, Coach Haraba in the building? Aussie's in the building. Yeah. No, I was like, man, and but you could fight. You didn't gas out like most muscular guys, so that system worked. So, give them a kind of like a briefing of a taste of what you was talking about again.
Well, I really have to give another trainer, one of my trainers, their flowers, and his birthday was last week. So happy belated birthday to John Tandy out of England, West London at that, and high altitude training at Lake Arrowhead, which is right next door to Big Bear at the rim of the mountain in San Bernardino, California.
Yeah.
But what he used to do is the big muscle groups. Like if you're a particularly muscular guy, like I used to be, someone that may be crossing over to boxing from football or even Roman Greco wrestling or something like that, or even track, because I know my guy, the light heavyweight that was out of Britain, used to remind me of myself too.
Which one?
He's like I think he's in the top 5 right now. You know what I'm talking about. He's a Caribbean British guy, little buff, 175er.
I know several guys who are on that route, but then there are the guys that are just freakish.
Yeah, but his name, he's always, he's right there. I even seen him at on TV from over in Saudi Arabia this weekend. But anyway, when you were built like us or out of that Ken Norton mode or whatever, Holyfield was a lot of lean muscle, so he was farther ahead and even more developed than everybody. But Ken Norton had that cut out of the block kind of thing, like I was. Like it came from your genes and your environment of being from the Southeast and things of that nature. But what you do is you first have to cook that body down, because we all have different dimensions and everything, and different start off bases that we come from. You might be a small man in a big man's body, or even a medium man in a small man's body, in boxing, because we have to manipulate our bodies in order to get down. So what I did, or what John did with me, was he recognized that my muscle was so freakish that it was even limiting me in my movement and my flexibility, and in my scientific training, as far as going into the championship rounds of 10 and 12 round fights. It's like he broke down and watched film on me and was like, look, those first 6 rounds you're smoking. Like, for a light heavyweight, the guys that throw on average like 75 punches a round, you're throwing like 97 punches around as a light heavyweight for those first 6 rounds, and then you tail off. So why are you tailing off? He's like, because your muscle needs more nutrition to continue. It needs more water to continue. If you got muscle and muscle is 87% water, then what's going to happen is as you lose that water over that 47-minute aerobic exercising, then if your muscle isn't lean and those little muscles don't take over, that's why we did all the drills. Like he would cook the big muscle. If you got a big chest or big shoulders, boom, we're doing military press, 2,000. Like, and I'm not exaggerating, like really, 2,000. It burns. I can't do no, keep pushing. Because it's a lightweight. You would think like you start off, you do the first time, you're like, oh man, this ain't nothing. You get about the 500, you're like, okay, this is starting to hurt, and then it's also important what you just said too, Eric, is getting the right food. Like I wasn't on that end of it. His wife Michelle did a great job of with the camp food and everything, and John and his team of scientists that we had at Tandy Boxing and things of that nature. Those guys break down the macros and all that kind of stuff. So you're right. If you don't put, like, if I was at home and I did that workout by myself, and then I tried to go compete, I would literally fall off a cliff. Like your body is so sore that it feels like you went out and you just went head up with a truck.
Yeah, you're right. And that's one of the things that people don't understand. When you stop eating just to eat, when you're training like that, you're transforming the body into a different vehicle. And you're going from a Toyota to a Bentley. And if you still try to put regular unleaded gas in it, it won't run the same as a Bentley should. You have to premium that gas. It's octane. And so when you understand how to formulate the food, this is one of the same reasons Coach Bradley told me. I want you in charge of the nutrition for these guys. You got 3 different guys fighting for titles or defending. So I want you to put together that meal plan that you do. And he had told like several of the other coaches about it. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And like I said, I was still at the point in time in my career that I didn't have confidence that they had confidence in me in all areas. So it wasn't like now where I can say, well, I created this, use it, it's going to work. I was like, I hope this works. And it did, because the work had been put in. Studies and tests for over 3 years just on this one meal plan before it was released. And this is what I share with our guys in Top Trainer. Hey, implement this, whether with yourself so you can see for yourself. It's going to work. It's timeless. In 35 years, you can use it because it does exactly what you need to do. It takes that meal. It takes that exercise and those broken down muscles, trillions of tears in those muscles, and it repairs them because first, your stomach is clean. It's empty. It's loaded. Then you load it with the digestion tools, all of those natural fruits and herbs, right? That's all your body has in it. So it's going to operate like some kind of a being from outer space. And then you start putting that food in there, making sure you can break that fast with the bone broth or anything that has that kimchi, or you can do like sauerkraut, like Archie Moore. And you load that body, and then it gets the enzymes that the body needs. Then you put the whole foods in 15 minutes to 30 minutes later. And you're talking about how you look then. I can't imagine you looking better, but if it's possible, the way you feed it, it's going to look better. So I want everybody to be encouraged that there is someone that has taken the time to take care of the boxing game. And that's one of the things that Haley Zale would always say. She was like, yo, Eric, you take this serious. And I love cleansing the body before you start fueling it. So I appreciate you taking the time to really remember how you went through that process, because from someone who loves high repetition stuff, I know how painful it is the next day or two. Sometimes it don't start to 2 days later. And that's the worst. you are like so ripped. Like you have to know how to eat, but your body is so shredded. Your gut is so lean. And then I would take the guys and hit the pool and do aquatic training and swimming, different drills. So it's a great, man. So once again, if you want to get strong with that workout through your eating and lose that weight and walk around and fight weight and go into the fight strong as an ox, then it's your agenda to make sure no matter what you do, you eat in that manner. That's just a pro tip. You don't have to get it from me, but I'm telling you, when you can do that kind of a workout and then you can actually fuel it, you're driving a Bentley to the fight. That's all I can tell you. You driving a Bentley to the fight, and it's gonna be really, really, really difficult to beat you physically and stuff. So there's that. So thanks again. But Otis, what I was gonna ask you though, so one of our guys had asked us, and Paul, thanks again. Paul has been with us for over 4 years. So it's great. It's great. This guy was just at his house working a job and became a trainer to the top trainer, got his gym, working with fighters, getting an opportunity to work with a champion. Like that's what happens when you take a leap of faith and believe in what you believe in. And he believed that what we do, he believed that what we did could help him, and it did. And now look, getting the opportunity to change boxing story and be a part of history. So there's somebody out there that does not believe that the doors are open for you, but they will. The thing about it is, when you see the doorknob, you have to take a leap towards it, and that's what Paul did. He decided, took a deep dive towards us, and then we made sure that he had what he needed tool wise. You got to learn on the job, but you're not going to make a mistake going left and right and going in a circle, because now you have a navigator, and what we do is play your North Star. We navigate you through that journey and stuff. So if world championship status or being elite at the world training level is what you desire, then that's how you get there. And so Otis, I got a question, and then I'm gonna grab a couple of the other people's question. But a young man asked me, Otis, and I want you to tell him, because you know this firsthand. When do you know when it's time to go pro?
When you know it's time to go pro,
Yes. And this is a fighter who's fighting. And
yeah,
he just asked me this morning, like, when do you know that it's, because they get motivated from these fight cards and they want to go, but when would you tell someone honestly that it's time to go pro?
well, you have to have a great deal of experience. Even if you're an amateur that doesn't go to like a lot of national tournaments and things of that nature, you probably need to at least get about 24 or more amateur fights in, even if they're on a local show. Just so you can understand the rules of boxing and how rounds are judged and just what a day entails, like what weigh in, how you feel when you go to a weigh in, how you feel when you're at in a foreign place that isn't your gym.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if you get knocked down? What happens if you get cut? You need that kind of experience before you go pro, so you're not learning on the fly. And the other thing I would say to measure yourself is you need to measure yourself against pros before you go pro. Like you need to spar pro level fighters in the gym and things of that nature. And the most important and the last thing that I'm going to tell you is that even if you are considering yourself as a pro and you feel like you are at a pro level as a fighter, your team needs to be a pro's team. If you don't got the right trainer, if you don't got the right manager, if you don't got the right nutritionist, if you don't got the right people around you, do not go pro until you get them.
Man, that's spoken from straight out of my brain, out of your mouth. And and coach, I see the statement that you left, and greetings back to you. We got some greetings and some shouts out from Belgium. So special shouts back out to you from Miami and California. We got a crazy cool cast. But when you speak of these components, I want you guys, if you're entering higher level boxing and you've gotten away with not having nutritionists, coaches, the trainers who they specialize in stretching and learning how to help you open up your body, because your body's going through transformations, all of that consistent impact. And we got to experience, we got to see Shakur Stevens dealing with it over the weekend. So I'll give you a clip of what he was saying, because he realized that his hand injuries are as a result of not actually um, taking what he needs to do. I mean, and there are just several different pieces that I want to share, so that you guys, when you're dealing with hand injuries, he's like, I got to link up with Floyd. And so I did a video for him so that you guys could hear the thing that you will run into. And if you don't have proper people around you, and obviously outside of massage, he doesn't have the other people that he actually needs. And you are your body, your
Third
body,
round, I had hurt both of my hands, so I kind of chilled for a little bit.
you get it?
In the third round, I had hurt both of my hands, so I kind of chilled for a little bit.
And so on the other clip, he's saying the lady was like, she asked him about it, and she was like, well, with Floyd, she said, I know you guys are close. Did you talk to him? And they said, I got it, but I ain't gonna play it. But he said, yeah. She was like, well, I know you guys have a relationship, and he had to deal with that his whole career as a pro. And are you going to reach out to him? And he was like, yeah, I think I need to do that. He said, I'm going to go and, unwind. And I think I need to contact him. But, Floyd went through it. People don't understand, when you get boxer knuckle is one thing. When you start tearing ligaments, I came from the medical field, so I know how severe that is if you don't hit a bag or people every day. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a benefit for a person that does do that, because you have a different level of bone density, but you have to strengthen your ligaments as well as your bone. And that is tricky, because you got to have different things. That's one of the reasons you guys see me with that inertia bar, and I'm shaking that inertia bar, because the inertia bar helps you create that electrical currency throughout the body, because you needed all the kind of play on the same level. And if you don't have that, what's going to happen is you're going to have boxer knuckle. You're going to tear ligaments. Tendons are going to be ruptured. And that comes from an imbalance in body. Like whenever you get shin splits, it's because you've run so much that your calves are getting too strong. So it's pulling the shin from the front and it's tearing it, and you can't hardly walk. So if anyone is experiencing shin splints, it's because you're running and your calf is getting stronger, but the gastrocnemius and the soleus aren't. So you have to really understand how to embody balance. And so when you're doing these kind of things, you need balance training. Okay. And if you don't understand that, that's what you have to ask questions about. And when you're talking about these positions, your nutritional coach is going to be the one that not gives you the nutrition plan. The dietitian is going to do that. The coach is going to make sure you're keeping it optimized, you're making the adjustments. And then when you get back into front of the dietitian, they make the adjustments so you can get further down in weight, but still eat good. Okay. You won't be going 3 days without eating. And Daniel Jacobs learned you can pull up his all access when he was fighting Peter Quillen, and our good friend Chris Algieri has a master's degree in nutrition. He's also in the nutrition world, and he fed him. He said it was the first time I ever had breakfast on a weigh-in day. He was like, I usually don't eat like a week out from the fight, I don't eat. That's what Daniel Jacobs was going through. But when he got with Chris Algieri, he was like, man, I even ate breakfast this morning before I weighed in. That's understanding the body. Okay, so Otis, thanks for breaking it down. You do need these guys around you. You're not going pro if you don't. First, I wouldn't even go pro if you don't have a good following of people who are considered a fan base. If you don't have a fan base, stay away from the pros. All right, because it's only going to be an uphill climb and people are only going to run away from you. So if you're a competitive athlete or if you work in the training field at all, build it up. And you don't have to have 1 trillion people follow, but what you have to do is realize it's 2 billion people just on Instagram. What are you waiting for? Nobody's going to look for Mr. Nobody Knows guy. So get that together as well. Then make sure you have a real system that you're going into as a pro. Now, boxing as an amateur is one thing, but as a professional, that's prize fighting. That's fighting for a prize. That means I will eat your neck bone off to get that bag. It's a different narrative than amateur boxing. You want to hit the guy more times as an amateur and win a little medal. But as a prize fighter, you're fighting for cash, money, life-changing. All right. So there's that. So you got to understand this is a professional sport, but you don't play boxing. And when it's all said and done, don't forget that you're a company now. When you were an amateur, your coach was the boss. When you become a professional, you're the one writing checks. So are you ready to write checks? Have you gotten enough endorsements? Have you gotten sponsorships? Have you gotten people to give you seed money to build a staff of people? And if you don't, then don't go pro, because you're just wasting people's time and you're in people's way. And people need to eat. So if you just want to go fight pro because you want to throw punches at someone, but you can't pay anyone and they have to go home hungry because they chose to support you, stay an amateur or stay out of the prize fighting business until you get someone who can mentor you up and coach you up on how to do it the right way. Okay, because we don't want you guys going into it thinking that tomorrow you get in a fight, Shakur Stevens or Gervonta Davis or Floyd gonna come out of retirement and give you a $10 million payday. Don't work like that. You guys get to see the triumphs, but you don't get to see the journey. You're asleep when they're running in a 11-degree weather at Big Bear Mountain. All right. You see, they don't edify that part. You know what I'm saying? Doing sit-ups at 11 p.m. So you tired enough to sleep till 4:35 until you get up in the morning. So ask yourself, do you really want that smoke? Are you ready to go pro? Are you going to be more of a problem? If you want to just be a punching bag, then yeah, you can go pro, because that's what's going to happen, because you're not going to have quality training. You're not going to have nutritionists. But the people who do have that, they're going to use you as a punching bag. So there's that. Okay. That was it. I just wanted to make sure that people were clear, that they were clear on how to approach and respect professional boxing. You wouldn't ask to play flag football and then go want to play for the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow. Like, because you watched the Super Bowl, you're not going to go get a job with prize fighting. Is the toughest job you will ever have and the most edifying at the same time. So, big ups. One of our guys said one of his fighters has been riddled and diagnosed with a disease that renders him from training at a high intensity level. So unfortunately, that's unfortunate to hear. That's unfortunate to hear, Paul. That sucks. Well, our prayers are for him. Darius is a good kid. He would definitely been a great conversation. Just God has a plan for him, bro.
Yeah,
God has a plan for him. This ain't new to us, and that ain't new to him. So You just encourage them, and you know, there's a much bigger story that you're a part of right now, coach. And I can just tell you that because I've said it for a long time. You might not have all the experience, but you do have the blueprint, right? You got our blueprint. And you'll with that, you'll get coaching and experience. And there's a fighter right now, world champion, or someone's trying to retain his belt, or someone's right at the doorstep that is going to need someone who has a process in place. And you have a process and you have mentorship. So you'll always be able to lean on them. And that person, right now, that thing is happening right here. It's already happened once, but it's happening again. And you're going to glue somebody's career together, and they're going to accomplish something. I can see it clearly as day, and I know it because I know what it takes to get up there. When I learned what was up there, I realized what it takes to be there and to stay there. And so just be thankful because that person's approaching and you're ready. That's all you got to worry about. Uh, Prayers to Darius. He's a good kid. Send our love from Team Master Boxing. And with that being said, he's going to be a part of your story as well. So everybody stay encouraged out there because this game is real. And you got a two-time world champion telling you right now what you need to be a professional. If not, if you would have been back in his day, he would have pounded your brain off out of your skull if you didn't. And if you don't want that, then do exactly what he's telling you. Because obviously, if I say it, you ain't listening. Because you wouldn't ask that. Because you got to know. You got to know. You're welcome, coach. You're welcome, brother. You guys have earned it. You guys have earned the right to do stuff. Love these lives. We love doing them, brother. We love doing them. We love making sure everybody gets it because the game is abundant and it's robust. And if you're in the game, get yourself comfortable with one of these and talk to your people every day. You go to my stories every day. I'm talking to my people in my stories every day on Instagram and Facebook. It goes. And the reason why I do that is because there's always a guy who's in that position where he don't know if it's going to work and they don't know, they're not confident in their skill. I've been in the gym, Otis, the past short while. I've walked in a couple of gyms and in the gyms, there's absolutely no footwork. They don't even do it. They it's like from the waist down, they expect their hands to lead their lower body where to go. But the bottom line is you got to understand the periodic table. That's why we got the periodic table. Like I pull these books out because I let people know you might think you're on my level, but you ain't even far enough to have written something. And everybody, if you train people, if you're a doctor, you have to publish material all the time. Every month, you got to have something published. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is a level when you are an author. I've done it 30 plus times now. So I'm saying the level that I have accomplished, has taken me from trainer to coach to teacher to professor. The professor provides the material. I no longer stand in the gym coaching people. That's my level. If you're still training, you're not at this level, so you don't understand what it entails. What it entails is making sure that the game is in a good place. So I got to feed everybody who's trying to do a tremendous job. That's what my job is right now because I'm overseer. And that's why I want to make sure I got guys like Otis who come on and share what it will take in order for you to do it. So with that being said, Shakur Stevens, did you think he performed well enough to get a fight with Tank? And then we're going to slide that thing out.
Yeah, I mean, he's already has the fight is building itself for the last two or 3 years now. But I think that he showed that when put pad to wire or pressed into a situation that he's going to come out fighting. That's what that showed me Saturday night. Like Padley was not easy guy that was just gonna lay down and go out of there, even though he took the fight on short notice. But Shakur, made him. A lot of times we say the spirit and the mind is willing, but the flesh is weak. That's what happened to Padley. Like his spirit and mind was like, hey, I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna upset Shakur Stevenson, but it was Shakur's job to make him feel why he wasn't going to do that. And because he showed that, I think that to answer your question, I think, he does deserve a fight with Tank.
What was the best fight of the night for you?
The best fight of the night for me was, what is it? Shimar, Hamas Shimar, and the Colombian Adami.
Okay. I got to go back and watch because we missed the beginning because I was at a seminar in downtown on Brickell down in Miami. And so, I mean, I'm working on Saturday. I'm getting, see, cats be thinking they on my life. I'm like, dude, you don't know what I do when you're having fun. Like I'm doing shit to push me further ahead all day in class, 8+ hours, nonstop head feeding. So there's that. And I didn't get in until it was really about the main event when I walked in. It might have been before, I think, but I had to rewind. Like I was like, I can take it back as far as Shakur. And so I started there. So I got the other fights to really watch. And I saw that. How do you think with Callum Smith fight? What was your opinion?
I think that I think Callum won, but I was surprised that it was as hard as it was. It's like Callum's one of those guys, just like Andy.
He fights at the level of his competition.
Yeah. Well, what was my man's name from Croc? Andy.
Andy Lee.
Andy Lee. Yeah, he reminds me of Andy Lee because they will fight down to a person's level, and they don't wear shots well. So with that being said, when you have those two things in combination, it makes the fight look a lot closer than it actually is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sometimes those big stages, they can really do something when you're far away, and plus that travel. Like people underestimate how 20-30 hours can do in the air to your body, to your mind, to your psyche, and the weather was different. So a lot of people were complaining about the weather this time. Like what do you think? You're in the desert. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
But a shocker of the night it wasn't a shocker. I knew he couldn't win that fight, but when Tony Parker ended that fight in the second round, I didn't see that happening because at first I knew it was going to happen because you can't just fly and go into a ring. Like, I don't care if it's 4 hours. Like you that's just the stupidest thing. So I feel like he's ruined his career for a paycheck. If I'm managing a person like that, that's why people need management. They need assessments. They need people who are there to make it clear that you don't do this. And when he was taking a fight, it's like, you do know your career is on the line. And it's a very slim chance you can win against a guy who's been training for a guy who basically is you.
Yeah.
Just faster. So he's going to be ready for the fight, even if he wasn't training for you. And you ain't fighting at that level of intensity in training camp because you ain't even in training camp, because he wasn't in training camp. He was in between countries, just traveling. And he looked like he was, and he was just basically going into a sparring match, and he's ruined his career because his brand was intimidation. And once that's gone, you have no brand promise, and there's nothing to fear. And now you have nothing to sell. And that's why if you're going into prize fighting, you need to understand these things. Your FSS score, the performance wasn't worth saying, no, you could fight better, because it just wasn't. You just look big and you look like you should have been at a pizza parlor opposed to being in a heavyweight championship fight. You ruined your boxing career. You can fight again, but there's a blueprint now.
Yeah,
Top of the head.
the
There's
blueprint.
a blueprint now. And like everything that you don't want exposed got
And the
exposed.
level that the blueprint is on. Like
Yeah.
everyone has that blueprint now, you know. So
Yeah. And then I hope that check was like a check that you get every month for the rest of your life, because that was it. That was your career. Whatever else happens is going to be the downslide. It's, like if Anthony Joshua can have a brand like he got and be looked at kind of not with the same respect right now, because he ain't won his last fight. He has to win again before people can say, oh, yeah. And then he has to win a second fight. He had just gotten back and he had a brand established. You ain't even got a brand established and you love. Yeah, it's over. And I hate to say that, but it is, because I understand fighting is one part of the profession. Brand is another part. You don't have a brand now. Your brand, what you were going on, the aura of invincibility, the guy people are fearing, that's gone. You don't have that. So now you're just some big guy. What's his name from New York? The big mouth. Big baby, just a big guy now. When he lost to Dubois. So, that's my take on the fight. Otis gave his feedback, and like, we want you guys to really understand when you're doing this thing, you got to do it for real, and you got to understand it. Don't try to be impulsive and say, hey, well, I'm going to go and do it, because it's not going to work for you. It's too many layers to it, and it's too many things that's going to keep you upset. You'll never be in control. When you get a nice, like if your social media is as robust as mine, you're going to get every opportunity you want, right? So continue to follow to learn how to build your presence and build your leverage to the market. And that's what we're showing you how to do. So when it's all said and done, we just hit 50,000 on YouTube today.
Yay.
Just did it. We did 50,000. So it's a thing where it's not even been concentrated on. It's just been happening. So that's a powerful thing. Special shouts out to you, brother. Thank you. And so that puts us as 1.25, 1.3 million across social media, Meta and YouTube. So Meta is 1.1. Then you got the YouTube. So that puts another 50. And then we got Instagram. I mean, like, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun showing the young guys how to do it and build up and have control. I told Stacey, I said, man, I wish I would have been around you when I saw you the first time, and just to get into your life at that time, Otis. I said, man, shit. You think Money May had it? Money May won't build like you. Like, we build, like, I had that marketing team. Like, every time he makes a move, I want that camera. Like, we had, boy, your shit would have been so enhanced. It's still been the best meeting. Yo, bruh. I was like, yo, because I know the fight part is you got that. So, man, I said, but you know what? That's everything happens for a reason. We can take the game right now and build the game up on an entirely different level, starting right now. And with the management company you got and the mentorship program and marketing empire we built, we're going to take the game to the next level. So other fighters won't be void of that. And we'll chat this week and talk about the next moves that we'll make and help these guys out here in social media. So if you fight and you don't have proper management and you don't understand how to go about doing it, make sure you reach out to us at www.masterboxingllc.com, or make sure you DM us down here in the comment boxes over on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, because the only thing we want to make sure that you guys get is a piece of this pie in the world of boxing. So until next time, continue blessings. Coach Bradley out with my man Otis.
All right, now.
Any closing words, brother?
Hey, man, either have a plan or plan to fail.
That's right. That's fact. So don't fail, brother. You got a team behind you. So holla at your boy, and we'll see you guys soon. And make sure you stay tuned because we're going to give you, once again, all of the information that you need to contact with a proper management company with Otis and his crew. And like I said, we got you on the back end. But if you want to make it to the top, you just have to have a roadmap. This is the roadmap. There's that. Peace.